Hey again, guys. Do you know what I like to do when I get a little outraged? I like to look at some baseball cards. Theo Clemente Collector recently had THA Card Story on his channel. So I got to meet him and his son at the National. Great experience. And he was showing a card that was graded by CGC that was a reprint and an obvious reprint. And my man, Godlike Collectibles, just did a little rant on it. So I'd like to chime in. I was a little outraged when I saw it. And I say all the time, all these grading companies are not experts. Quite honestly, I doubt these folks have ever seen this card, or at least whoever was grading it ever seen this set. It was the 1955 Johnson Cookies. And man, in looking at that card, I would have known in a split second that it was a reprint for several different reasons. Now, not only did CGC grade this thing and authenticate it, but it went through eBay's authentication too, which I think you guys all know how I feel about that as well. So it got graded, passed eBay's authentication process. Now, they made reprints of those cards, and they're like regular size. And they have a little reprint on the back. And in this particular case, what happened was somebody erased that reprint area, tried to make it look like it was worn or stained or something, which is a common thing scammers do with reprints. If you ever know that there is a reprinted card and it has the word reprint at the bottom, like the 49 Leaf, for example, when you see those fakes, one of the first things you want to do is you want to flip it over and see if there's any marking over that area where the reprint is. They try to just do away with that and then age the card. Now, I just wanted to show you the cards we're talking about. They are the 1955 Johnson Cookies. This is the one that they graded. Now, there are a few things that stood out to me immediately about that card. Number one, it seemed to have sharp corners, and these cards were attached. So every card has a little rough edge from where they were separated. Number two, these cards are oversized. That card was far smaller than this, and you could see the size difference between a normal card. So that means that whoever graded that card didn't notice the sharp sides, didn't notice it was the wrong size by a long shot, and didn't notice that the reprint was erased and never looked. What that tells me is that grader never saw these cards before. I mean, who would grade such a thing? And I'm tired of everybody saying, well, everybody's human, the card graders are human, give them a pass, give them a pass, give them a pass. That's something that is nearly unforgivable. To blatantly to have that blatant of a mistake, because that just shows you don't know what you're doing. You're not an expert, so why would anybody pay you like you are? Got a little fired up about that one. I say it all the time. You can't always trust the card graders. You can't. We have seen it again and again and again, and all I hear about is human error. Well, when you're shelling out $2,000 for a card, I don't think you care about human error. They are paid to be the experts. They promote themselves as the experts, and the grading companies have taken over the hobby where you can't have a card that's not there and sell it. You can't have a card that's not in their holders, not authenticated, and sell it. So you better be on point. That said, if any of you are ever shopping for a card and want a second opinion, whether it's in a slab or not, feel free to reach out to me. I have lots of people that do that. I have seen with my own eyes and touched with my own hands most of these card sets. Know what to look for. I know Sammy Thunder just reached out to me with 1951 Connie Mack, and you know, it looked good to me. I told him it was good. It ended up being good. I have people reaching out to me all the time, so feel free to do that. I have people messaging me on Facebook and Instagram, and those who have my number or email address, reach out directly to. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to take a quick look. I won't always know. You can't always tell from a picture, but sometimes there are just blatancies to be careful with. That said, I wanted to show you some great cards. Number one, my man Stokes. Scott got a hold of a few of these and offered to sell me one, and I jumped on the opportunity. It's a 1960 Miller's photo, minor league photo, featuring a young Carl Yastrzemski in the middle there. Great team photo. I picked up, I've shown you guys some of the Magnavox Hank Aaron's from when they sponsored him. I got this postcard. It's a great image. It was after he broke Babe Ruth's home run record. Magnavox signed him, made all kind of stuff, had signings, and it came with the original card that was announcing a signing. I have it covered up, but this is a postcard back. And speaking of postcards, I got another set to add to my goal of getting one set. It's a little quirky one. It's a 1908, circa 1908. I'm not sure they know the exact year. Rose postcard. You may be familiar with the fantastic Rose baseball cards, but this is a kind of a quirky one. It shows a guy holding a basket, catching a baseball. And what I love about this is I love to get the old postcards that have the original stamp, have been used, and you know, somebody's writing to somebody. It's unclear who this woman is writing to. Could be her husband, and she's saying that she's rocking their son as she's writing this, I guess. And she says on here, "Is this how you play basketball?" That's what she leads with. So kind of cool. And I've been wanting one of these for a while. You know, I was a big Dave Parker fan. And so I finally got a hold of his O-Pee-Chee rookie card. These are not easy to find. You can see they're a little different there than the regular Topps 74. I shouldn't say regular, than the Topps 74 set. And I'll tell you the one great thing about collecting O-Pee-Chee cards. Well, there are a few great things about them. Number one, they're a lot more scarce than the Topps. Number two, I love the rough cuts. When they would cut these cards, oftentimes they have rough cuts, especially back in 73. Just love those things. They have a different back, usually, in the early 70s. Anyway, and man, with the rough cuts, it's really impossible to trim these and get away with them because they don't have sharp corners to begin with. So if you find them in the early 70s anyway that are with sharp edges, that should be a little suspect right off the bat, especially the 73s. But I just love the rough cuts. A really nice example. I got another 1977 Topps Mexican football, and this guy was a great receiver, and that's Harold Carmichael. And I always loved this card growing up, so I got the Mexican version. If you want to know how you could tell the Mexican version, it's because it's in Spanish. Not too hard to figure out. I got this 1966 Victoria. This card just struck my fancy. Louis Armstrong. I got a whole diverse group of things here. Got some Tua rookie cards. Two different poses. One's the, what is that, optic? And one's the regular. I showed you Johnny Bench from this set that I just got, and I picked up a Sal Bando. There's a guy that doesn't get enough hobby love. A staple on that great A's team. Love that set. What is that, 2001? Upper Deck Vintage. Showed you a few of these, and I picked up Otani. What are these, Mega Box? Mega, I think. And I got a Acuna. Tops now. What's the fifth to be a 40-40 player? And I showed you guys that I had gotten a Rusty Staub from the 1971 La Pizza Royale. Well, I picked up a near set too, so I thought I'd show the whole set. So I got another Rusty Staub. These are scarce. Gene Mock. We have Coco LeBoy. Now, he came up with a big splash and was runner-up for Rookie of the Year, tied with Al Oliver. In 69, Ted Sizemore, I believe, won it that year. Sometimes I mix up some names in my head. I just did that with Clem Labine and who's the other one? Clem Labine and Carl Erskine. Jeez. All right. So anyway, Coco LeBoy, one of the great names in baseball history. Runner-up for Rookie of the Year, Bob Bailey. He came up with my Pirates. I think they called him Beatles Bailey. I think that's what my dad told me. Ron Fairley. And these are just plain cardboard backs. John, this is Bocabella. I only know him from other cards I have of him. Gary Sutherland. Bobby Wine. Cool name. Cool card. Adolfo Phillips. Man, I wish the Expos were still around. Howie Reed. Rich Nye. And Jim Gosker. I remember when I was little and the Blue Jays first came up. I always had a fascination with the expansion teams. The Blue Jays and the Mariners. So, pick that up before I step on it or forget about it. All right, that's what I have for you. Hey, be careful out there. There's a lot of people out trying to scam us these days. If you need help, reach out. There are so many knowledgeable people here in this community. So don't be afraid. Everybody's very generous with their time, their knowledge, expertise, whatever. Better to be safe. Better to be safe. And I saw sports card investor Jeff Wilson's opening a Las Vegas for sports cards in Atlanta. Gonna have breaker rooms and probably ticker symbols, and you can crack open packs and sell them to other people, the cards you don't want, when you get a big pool. It's going to be like Las Vegas, I think. in Atlanta. We'll see how that goes. A lot of man, a lot of changes in this hobby. A lot of changes in this hobby, and a lot of people coming for our money. So be careful. Love collecting. Love investing, if that's what you do. Whatever. There's a lot of different facets in this hobby today. So, hey, thanks for watching.